sure to tune in to At Home with Christ Ministry with Julie Thomas, broadcasting Monday nights at 8 p.m. live on licmc.net, radio, Facebook, and YouTube.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the At Home with Christ podcast. And so on this side of the story, we are still talking about the man who was sitting in his car, who now is staring into his rearview mirror, looking at a reflection of Jesus. That's right. It wasn't a reflection of himself, but it was a reflection of Jesus. And the man sitting in his car was thinking about betraying someone he loved, or maybe he should follow in the footsteps of his Lord. But just like Proverbs 27:19 tells us that water is like the face of the heart, which means that when we look into water, we see a reflection of our heart. And this man, now sitting in his car, had to make a decision. Was he going to betray someone he loved, someone who he was a friend with, or was he going to follow in the footsteps of his Lord and Savior? Because the reflection isn't a reflection of him, it is a reflection of Jesus. And we are reminded that every time we look in a mirror at ourselves, we should see a reflection of Jesus. We should be Jesus Christ. Now, this man sitting in his car with his reflection, the reflection of Jesus Christ, had to think, was he Judas? Was he going to be like Judas and betray his friend? Or was he going to be like Jesus? And what do you think this man did? What do you think this man should do? But when the man looked in the mirror, the first time he didn't see Jesus, he saw himself and how he would portray his friend, just like Judas did. He thought how he would betray Jesus. Judas, my brothers and sisters, was prompted by his own greed and hatred. So he wore a good mask, covering up his true identity. So we're telling you people, don't wear that kind of mask. Don't wear the mask that Judas wore. Wear your true mask, because Jesus can see through your mask. Jesus knows what you are about to do. And if you're wondering why is he looking at you back in the mirror and the reflection, because he is reminding you to be like him every day. To be like him. You don't need to betray anyone. You just need to love them. Now, this man who was staring in the mirror, he knows that his own hatred and sin that he was carrying deep down. But just like that man had hatred and sin deep down that needed to be removed, Jesus knows that of all of our hatred and sin that we are carrying deep down on the inside of us. So you got to get real with yourself for a minute and look closer in the mirror at yourself and ask yourself this question. Where is that dirt in your heart that must be taken out, that must be scuffed out so bad so you can live a sinful life? Where is that dirt at that's in your heart that must be taken out? You sit and laugh and talk with people as if it's nothing. Just like the man in the mirror looking at the reflection of Jesus. And then you turn around and you want to betray somebody. I mean, is that right? No, it is not right. And all the time thinking to yourself, how can you betray someone you said you love? Someone you sat down and ate with? Someone you invited to your house? Are you Judas? I'm asking you. Because if you are Judas, then you have to know that sooner or later you're going to get caught. And you don't want to get caught. You don't want to get in trouble by God. You don't want to get in trouble by Christ. But this man in his car right now, at this moment, staring at Jesus, just like you and I, staring into the rearview mirror, and the reflection of the rearview mirror is Jesus. It's asking you and telling you, you must look closer into the mirror to see what God sees. And you must understand what God sees. If you don't look closer in the mirror and get an understanding what God sees, then you are going to be in trouble. Because James 1:23 tells us, if any man is a hearer of the world and is a doer, he is like a man who looks in the mirror at his natural face. And for once he is gone, away is he. So what is this saying? Any man who is a hearer of the world and a doer is like a man who looks at his natural face in the mirror. So if you're looking at your natural face in the mirror, when you look in the mirror and if you don't see Jesus, then you are a hearer and doer of this world. Now, the man looking in the mirror had to make a choice, just like you and I have to make a choice every day. Do you want to see yourself as Jesus in the mirror, or do you want to see yourself as Judas in the mirror? Because if you want to see yourself as Jesus in the mirror, you must remember that you must adopt the ways of Christ. You must remember to follow the ways of Christ. You must remember that you cannot break bread with someone and you're going to sit down and betray them. You're going to sit down and betray them by trying to kill them. You're trying to rob them. You're trying to hurt them. So how can you break bread with someone if you are going to do something wrong to them? That isn't love, brothers and sisters. That isn't love. That isn't love at all. And we're telling you, look closer into that mirror and understand what God sees. And when you understand what your God sees, then you can deal with your sinful behavior. And then you can begin to clean those dirty spiritual dishes, that dirt that's really down in there, that you got to get down under there and you got to scrub. You don't want to be like the man in the mirror in his car wondering, why is Jesus Christ looking at me? When you know darn well why Jesus Christ is looking at you. You know darn well why Jesus Christ is asking and telling you to clean those dirty dishes up. Why is Jesus Christ looking at you? Because he wants you to be like what? Like him. And until next time, we are saying, look closer, brothers and sisters, into the mirror so you can see what God sees. Thank you.
Be Be sure to tune in to At Home with Christ Ministry with Julie Thomas, broadcasting Monday nights at 8 p.m. live on licmc.net, radio, Facebook, and YouTube.
Hello, I am Julie Thomas, and the name of my podcast is it's a Well Water Christian podcast for my social media podcast show, which is At Home with Christ. And now I want to tell you about my latest TV show, which is going to be At Home with Christ TV. And you can reach that, and you can see all the episodes on Shrimp TV, on shrimp.com, so that you can go to this new platform, which is shrimp.com, and look for At Home with Christ TV under London. It is a fantastic show, and we hope